I want it to feel more organic and feel like everyday life and not this talking head that all she does is paint furniture. Welcome back to the Cypress Room, where we dive deep on influencing with integrity. This is a podcast for creators, and I am Christina Mascari.
And I'm Meggie Honeycutt, and today we're going to be talking about building a community, how we can build deep and meaningful connections with our audience, and some practical tips and steps for maybe what that looks like in the creator space.
And I'm definitely in process on this, so I hope that you guys are in process with me. But I have just been feeling, for the past few months here that deep is the new wide. Yes. We are no longer chasing numbers. We're no longer chasing a big following. And I just want to really engage with the people that want to engage with me and what that looks like and how I've had to have kind of a mind shift. And so we're going to talk through all those things. But if you're someone who's small and you're like, I don't have a ton of people, this is going to be a great episode for you, because you're going to start with good practices of how do I engage? How do I foster the people that are following me? How do I go deeper with those connections and really see those people, as souls instead of just a number? And just, I think it's going to give you more longevity in this haul. Yes. And I've kind of lived it. So I feel like I have a little bit of info, but again, this is all me just processing, working it out, and starting the conversation with you guys.
Yes, and us as the Cypress Room, this is great for us to kind of flesh out how we want to shape and build our community moving forward. Mm-hmm. So I think that it's going to be full of practical takeaways for even us.
Mm-hmm. And always stick around to the end, because we'll be talking about our favorite things. And that's one of our favorite ways to build community.
Yes.
Is share things that we're loving, have you guys try them out and let us know your feedback as well. Or you tell us things that you're loving, because we're always ears open for new products and things that are going to make my life happier and better.
Yes, absolutely. So let's talk about origin story of how this podcast came about. And I know for me, the way we started talking about it, I mean, we've been talking about community for a while on this podcast. And I think this is just a different aspect, maybe. And what got my mind thinking about this is over the several interviews that we've done this year with our creator friends, each one of them has happened to mention how this is the year they're focusing on building and engaging their community, which I thought was very interesting, that this is the year people are purposing to go deep and create meaningful connections with their audience.
Yeah, and I think it's just a thing of getting worn down and what's the new season, what's the next thing, because I feel like in this industry, you kind of always have to keep things fresh and keep changing and evolving. But it's kind of feels almost forced as well, because I know for me, when short form came out like 2 years ago, it's short form. It's so hard to remember. Probably like two or three. When short form started taking over, you just got this incredible bump in reach. I mean, they were organically pushing that short feed content if you were doing that to people. And I grew on TikTok overnight by like 1 million followers. I did similar things on Instagram. Like I went from 10,000 to 100,000 off of one reel. And I think that stuff's still happening, but it's happening a lot. It's a lot more rare, I think. I think the algorithm, they're really they're not pushing stuff as organically as they're continuing trying to figure out how they can make money off of short form content. And so it's put me in this place of, I had this snowball where, oh my gosh, I was just getting so many views, and I'm like on all 4 of the platforms and have like a similar following on all. And look at it, in total, it's 1.7 million people. Now, are all those people engaging with me? No, they're not. But it just seemed at a point to me, it got too overwhelming to even be in my DMs, to even be in my comments, because there was so much. I'm never going to keep up with it. There was a season where you were doing it. Like helping, assisting, like doing what you could, and questions you can answer you were fielding to me. But then that got too overwhelming as well, because I needed you to help me with other stuff to get all these things done in my business that needed it to run, that were making money. And now like things are like slowing down on that aspect too. Like the brand partnerships are slowing down. The number of eyeballs I'm getting on my YouTube content is slowing down. So that income is slowing down. So we kind of had to have our little like come to Jesus meeting, as I call it, last week, where we just refocused where you're working and where you're putting your space as a support person for me. And so it just has gotten to the point where it's like, okay, all this room has happened, not necessarily by choice, but what can I do with this space and this room that I have? And especially if I'm feeling worn out, burnt out by this like constant machine of create content, get it out, get eyeballs, blah, 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 get comments, da, da, da. Like, okay, what's going to actually bring me joy? And speaking with like Kyle and hearing about how he's in his DMs constantly.
Yeah.
And how it's one of his favorite things and how it brings him joy. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm a little disconnected from a lot of my followers.
Yeah.
And so once we had that conversation, I started doing some action items of going into stuff more and interacting with people. And it's still fairly like new to me. But I do kind of feel a little bit of that joy coming out when I'm having those one-on-one personal connections with people.
Yeah. And, you know, I think too, when we talked to Kyle, I think this is also the reason he's had so much success in the area of brand partnerships, even when he was a small creator. So if you're a small creator, I think that this should be a main strategy in your forefront if you do want to monetize, and that's kind of your goals for the future, because brands are wanting an engaged community. They are wanting, you know, people and creators who have a following that you can influence. And I'm not meaning that in a negative way, but in a positive way.
Yeah. That believe what you say.
That
know
trust you.
Yeah, that you're not selling something to them like every other day of like different brands of the same type of thing. Yeah.
Because what you're saying and what Kyle did is by spending, I think he said an hour in his DMs every day.
Was it every day?
Yeah,
oh
every day. And
I'm not there yet.
Yeah. That's what he's doing with his followers. He's building trust. He's building a relationship so that when he says, I love a product, they are invested. They trust what he says. And I think that is great. And look how much success he's had, you know, doing that. And even I love how interactive he is in his stories and his storytelling, and how he really knows how to draw someone in and get them invested, and not even always about his DIY stuff, just his stories about his roof leaking and just different various things in his personal life. So I think his conversation with us really sparked a lot of ideas in that regard. So
okay. And I've actually put some action behind doing some of these things. Like I realized, okay, this is something that I want to work on this year. So what are some action items that I can do? So I kind of wanted to share my action items, get your feedback, because I don't know if you know all of them. And again, I'm in process. I don't know if any of these are working.
Okay, so back up one step though. When you were thinking of like your own action items, how did you go through that process? Were you thinking of how you like to interact with your favorite creators, or what gets you to engage and then kind of flip it around?
Okay, I'd say that was a small part of it. But honestly, when it comes down to the core of it, I started interacting with my followers like they're my friends.
Okay.
Like how I interact with people in real life and what I like talking to people about in real life.
Yeah.
And what aspects I like to share of myself, because I think I've always, because I'm so niche down, I share a lot about me, but there's a lot of things I've been guarded about, or like, no one's going to care about that. This is going to alienate people. So I'm not going to put this up. Not alienate people. It's people like don't care about my day-to-day, everyday things. But I'm definitely not that way with my friends. And I want to be friends with my followers, if that makes sense. I want it to feel more organic and feel like everyday life, and not this talking head that all she does is paint furniture.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of, I think that's where it stemmed from. It stemmed honestly from like Kyle and a lot of it is like having more fun, I guess, in my stories and in my comments, and having people, you know, share things with me that they normally wouldn't share. Like, I love how he does like an anonymous box about tell me just something anonymous, and then he shares them, and they're like these wild things.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna go there because some of them are crazy. But yeah, so just like random things like that about, did you like the Super Bowl? You know, that's not anything that has to do with but I want to know, because I loved the Usher performance. We had a party. I was the only one dancing. Everybody was staring at me.
Only one?
I was the only one.
Shame.
I was like, I know your insides are screaming to get up.
You knew
and
I was
dance.
dancing at
I
home.
mean, you know?
Yeah, it was the song of the end of our college years and right after.
I just didn't realize how much I love Usher
Yeah.
until that moment. And then that Confessions album, y'all, if y'all don't have that, I have seen that on Apple. It is at the top of the charts right now because everybody's like, oh, yes, this album
was so good.
It was back when we still had CDs. So I listened to the whole album. It was like in my little Honda.
Every song was good on
every
it.
Song, I'm just thinking, get at me, bad girl. He didn't even sing that one. What y'all know about a supermodel? Okay, I'm digressing. But this is what I want.
Yeah, and this is
like, I want to have fun again.
Someone out there is thinking like, what does this look like in my business? Like, that's the thought process we want you to go through is like, what are the things about you that you aren't sharing? Or how do you like to interact with other people and other creators? How do you interact with your own friends? What are the quirky things about you that are funny and eccentric and make you you? That's a good place to start. So anyways.
Yeah.
I'm going to be playing Usher the rest of the day now.
So good.
It is
so good. But yeah, so bringing more of that everyday stuff of like stuff I want to talk to my friends about and still realizing that people are following me for a reason and still giving them what they signed up for, but giving them more of myself and asking for more of them, I guess, too, than I've ever asked before. So did that help explain it?
Yes.
I know pre-show we were talking about this and I was like, I don't know, Maggie. I think we just need to turn the camera on and see what comes out. And that is my authentic answer for you right there. It was not pre-planned.
No, I think that's good. And I think it's very true. And something we don't sit and think about a lot of times is like, what do my interactions with people in real life look like? And how can I translate that to my online community?
Because isn't that being your most authentic self then?
Yeah. Well, which is the goal, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Interesting. I just learned something about myself. This is why you need to have conversations with people.
This is why we're talking it out right now.
In a process. Okay.
Yes.
I have not made it. I will never make it. I will always be in process.
So from realizing how you like to interact with people, you decided to come up with practical things you can do. And what are they?
I have 3 practical things because I don't want to overwhelm myself. And these are things that I've all tested out already. And we're just seeing how it goes. The first one is that I'm back in my DMs. I'm back in my comments on YouTube. I'm responding to everything. Now I'm breaking that up into chunks so I don't get overwhelmed. And I have enlisted Meggie again to help me and be in there and bring things to me that need to be I need to see, that need to be attention. If it's just like a thanks, she can answer thanks back. She knows my heart. She knows where I'm coming from. So it's just to help clear out some of that stuff to help be able to answer the deeper questions or to see the ones that someone took a lot of time to write out. And there are a lot of thoughts there that I need to see. I still appreciate the thanks. And you will get a thanks back. And even if it doesn't come directly from me, it's coming from like a person that's basically like my arm in my business. So the same heart is behind her thanks as is behind my thanks.
Yes.
So that's the first actual item. Something that helped me practically in this area as well is that I get a lot of negative feedback, obviously. And on YouTube, what's really great on the back end of your studio is that you can filter your comments. So I always have like comments I haven't responded to so that I know, and then I'll clear them out of my queue. So that way I know, oh, hey, I answered this one. It's out of the queue. And then I don't feel overwhelmed. It's easier to go through the comments that way. And so the negative comments would just kind of like clog it up because I'd either, delete them or I don't know. I've just gone through different seasons of comments. And the latest thing that I'm doing now is I'm just giving them a heart because when you give them a heart, they disappear. If you give them a thumbs up, they stay there. I
didn't realize the thumbs up, they stay there.
So I could say thanks to each and every one, but like, honestly, I don't want to spend that much time on them. So if I just hit heart on their negative comment or negative question or whatever, it just clears it on out. So that's kind of my new philosophy. I've gone through ebbs and flows of those where I've deleted all of them, where I've only deleted some of them. I think the last thing that God told me was like, pray for every person and bless them, like before you move on. And now we're just to hearts. And like, it's the season of hearts. And it's like, oh, good for you that that's your opinion. Great.
Yeah.
and it feels good. So
Okay, I like that.
sometimes the negative comments overwhelm me from being in there in general. So I feel like a new level of freedom with this new idea of hearting. So if you don't know how to get rid of not negative comments, you can steal that one. Also, like something that's helping practically in business on Instagram, I'm using automated DMs, which we've talked a little bit about on here. So anytime I'm putting up a reel, I always give people the option to comment something to actually get the tutorial or get the product. So they're not just consuming content that I'm sending them somewhere, so that I'm giving them resources to complete that project. And so what that automation DM has done for me, not only am I providing a service to people, but then I know it's telling me, hey, this person just engaged with your content. So those automations show up in my DMs. And what that is showing me is that person is engaging with my content and they want to know educational stuff from me. They want to know products lists. Those are the people that I want to engage with. So Instagram's honestly making it easier for me with that automated DM to be able to just go in there and check in on those people and be like, hey, did you ever check out this tutorial? Did you find this helpful? Were you able to open this? Like I have a whole list of people that I can actually go in and engage with because they have engaged with me first. Because when you're just like responding to comments on Instagram, you don't always get like that engagement. They don't always get a notification that you're commenting them back. But I mean, where it's at to engage with people on Instagram is in DMs, and Instagram honestly rewards that. So not only am I, feeling better about it because I'm actually engaging with people and they're becoming real people instead of numbers, and I'm getting to know them and like, why did you want to get this tutorial? Do you have something that you're working on? So I have like basically a whole folder of leads that if anytime I'm like, man, I'm feeling disconnected from people, I can go in there and just start a conversation with them, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. And with those automated DMs, they don't expire. So say you get a new follower 2 months down the road and they go back and comment on an old piece of content.
Yeah. Then they'll pop in.
It'll still pop in and they can still, it's a new way, which I think is neat.
Yeah. And if you're smaller, like taking this to a practical place where you're like, well, I only have 1,000 followers, then that makes it even easier for you, because anybody that's showing up on your DM, actually, anytime you get a follower, you should go and message them, go DM them and say, hey, I saw that you followed me, like, welcome. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you. I used to do that back in the day when I was still like building that up. So that's still a practical step I think you can do today. Like engaging with those people when they follow you is the best thing that you can do, because that's going to keep you in their feed. That's going to keep you in their stories. But then the benefit on top of that is that you're going to make a real connection, and they don't just become this like avatar, because they're not an avatar. They're a real person.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that is a really important thing to remember, is that we aren't just chasing numbers. We are building community, and every one of those followers is a physical person somewhere that has value and worth. And I just always want to have that at the top of my mind when I am engaging with people. So I think that's a really good point.
Yeah.
All right. What is there another one?
Yeah. Okay. Number 2 is putting out content occasionally. I'm not bombarding people, that connects my viewers to my personal life. And the biggest one that I put out recently was on my YouTube channel, and it was all about overcoming fear in 2024 and encouraging people to tackle their biggest fear. Because last year I had an opportunity to tackle my biggest fear, which is public speaking, which I think people are probably like, yeah, right, Christina, you're on camera, you have a social presence. So no, I'm terrified of public speaking.
It's different. A live audience
so different.
is different.
Being like off the cuff and not being able to edit it. As you can tell on the podcast, I say like and a lot when I'm processing thoughts. And my body knows, my mind knows I'm okay, but my body responds to getting on stage negatively, and I can't control it. My body shakes, my voice shakes, I sweat.
I'm the same.
It's bad. So I had an opportunity I was basically forced to do a public speak off. Not forced, I decided to do it in the end. But anyways, it was like an opportunity that I had and got up and did it. And so I shared that whole experience on my channel because somebody filmed the thing and it was really nice. And so all I had to do was put, the story on front of it. And that video bombed. I'm going to be honest.
Okay.
Wait, I'm going to talk through it. So I'm not being negative. I'm not being
Okay.
negative. So that video did not perform well on my channel
Compared
to how my videos typically perform. And my subscribers did not click on it. They didn't want to watch it. This is all information that YouTube feeds me. Okay. But with the people who watched it, it was a deep connection point because it was a very personal story about my life, how I've gotten to where I am, and encouraging people to like step forward in obedience if they feel like called to do something, to step forward in that, even though it's scary and it's unknown and it seems like a really bad idea, because look at how my life has been blessed by just being obedient to what I feel called to do. And the comments that I got on there, I think I had 1 or 2 negative comments, but the rest of the comments were like, I needed this. This message was for me. Yeah. And I say that in a non-self-serving way, because if it were up to me, I wouldn't have put that video out, because it's very personal, very personal. And I have never put anything like up on my channel that personal before. But I felt like if I was just doing it for one person, if that story just needed to encourage one person, it would be worth it. And it encouraged a handful of people. And I have loved engaging with those people so much on that comment. I feel bonded to them. I think that they feel bonded to me. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
Is it good for my channel? I don't know yet. But I'm willing to take the chance and put myself out there, because I'm more than just furniture, and the experiences that I've had are more than yes, I've encouraged people and helped people, create skills and maybe a business for themselves, or some side money, or just like therapy for their hands and to be able to use their hands and work, do things. But there's also, for me, everything, there's like a spiritual aspect to everything. And so I'm just allowing people, I guess, into that more, because those are the things that matters. Those are the interactions I have in my life that are really meaningful to me. So I guess I'm putting that out on a bigger platform, which is a little terrifying.
Yeah.
But it also felt good. But I don't know yet. I'm still in process. I'm still in process. And I'm not going to bombard people. That's not going to be like all the time. But and those videos, I guess I'm kind of making for myself, because I'm not making them for like the algorithm and are they going to perform and whatever. So I'm just that's another strategy, to just throw in these videos every now and then that maybe don't really have a lot to do with furniture, and just see what happens. I don't know.
Well, do you think, going back to our video where we commented on Vanessa Lau's break, she talked about coming back and going back to her 4 core principles. Do you think that when you're thinking about how you can go deeper with your community, are you revisiting what those are for you and kind of rediscovering if you need to make adjustments, or maybe if you just need to go back to them? Like, do you think that is a piece of it?
Maybe. I think they've always been there, but I think, and we talked about that in that reaction video. I think the success of the business and the size of the business just kind of became a little bit of an idol. And what I mean by that is it just became the main focus. And so I think a lot of times I was making content to perform instead of making content to better people's lives, to encourage people's lives, to teach people something. But I think they were always at the core of it. So I don't think I was ever like ignoring them, but I think sometimes they got overshadowed by like, I got to do well. Like, I got to make this, that even though in my mind, I know that's not important. It's just I want to use a term that I think a lot of people aren't going to understand. It's like a very fleshly thing. It's like a world mindset that you have to do these things to be successful. You have to have these numbers. You have to grow every year. You have to have more revenue. And just in my personal life, I don't believe that. So to me, I guess that's not really what success is to me. So I guess it's more of like a refining and it's actually like pruning. That's what it is. It's like, because when you have a fruit tree, if you don't prune back and whatever, like certain branches aren't going to get the water that they need. So I think it's just like kind of pruning off some things to fine tune and refine how to have longevity, how to have my tree like not produce like a ton of fruit, but then die the next year because it wasn't pruned and trimmed properly. I just feel like, And I believe it's God. I believe that it's God who's pruning me and kind of fine tuning and refining these things to help me be able to do this like over a long period of time.
Yeah. Now, do you think that both of those things can coexist for somebody who is new, wanting to grow, wanting to perform? Can you have these core pillars, not pillars, core principles that you're putting out content, making engaged connections, deep connections, and still the performance? Can they coexist? Can you?
I think I know the answer yet.
I'm curious. It's just throwing out there. I don't think there is a right answer.
I don't think there is a right, and it is what it is. Like, I just know for me that the money and the success filled me for a little bit, but it's definitely not filling me anymore. And I can't rely on it because in this creator economy, it is not stable. So if you're looking for stability, if you're looking to constantly be growing and never having these dips in your income or the dips in the partnerships or the dips in the views, I would say don't do it. Like, get out now, because if you're not willing to go through these ebbs and flows of seasons and be able to change things and be able to cut out things that aren't working for you anymore in terms of like your overall well-being, then you have to really think about that. But I mean, some people may be fine like that. They just want to make money and that's their thing. Like, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that.
No,
just
not
for
at
me, it didn't work.
Yeah.
And so I am just kind of fine tuning and figuring out like what this next season, like if I can just get through this year and look at all these things that I've done and be like, okay, where am I at? Then I think that I can make more decisions on like the long term of this. But there's been a lot of seasons. There's been a lot of times over the past year and a half, 2 years where I have just wanted to quit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's just being honest. And someone from the outside might look at what I've done and what I've built and be like, but that's successful. You've done it. But it's just, there's not a finish line.
There isn't a finish
That's what
line.
I've learned. And owning a business is really hard.
And it's tired.
It's really hard. It's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of responsibility. And it's, and I was having trouble. We were talking pre-show. I was like, this just seems so self-indulgent and self-absorbed. But it's like hard because my business is my face. Yeah. And being a creator, your business is so attached to who you are and your face and your life that it gets a little sticky and tricky at times. And again, there's no book for this. There's no course for this. I mean, there are, but so it's all, you just have to be flexible.
Yeah.
And what can I work on? What can I get better at? And how can I grow? And if it gets to a point where I'm like, I don't like this anymore, I need to be like, okay to recognize that and just walk away if I need to.
Yeah. But I think too, this could be a teachable moment for anyone out there who has really romanticized having 1 million followers on platforms and that it's all highs and no lows, when the reality is that you are in kind of a crushing season right now. But as we've talked about in past episodes, those are the seasons where something new comes out of it, but it feels not great.
And it feels awkward. I feel like
awkward.
I feel like a baby giraffe trying to stand
when you're in the middle of it. But I think it's important to let people know that it isn't all glitz and glamour and romance and great stuff. There are hard seasons of it too, but I think when you're able to press through, the new comes out, and that's where the longevity happens too. It's something else I think we should mention. If a goal is to build an engaged community, it also goes back to a principle that we've talked about several times on this podcast, and that's the consistency of showing up. Because if I sit and think about the people I love to follow on social media platforms, and I love consuming their content, it's people who are in there every day, very consistently, who are just showing up. So I think that is a core piece of this that we can't not mention too. If you want to build a community of engaged followers to go deep with them, you have to commit to showing up on a regular basis and not ghosting people.
Which is hard. Because...
And I'm preaching to myself on that.
Yeah, I'm preaching to myself because I didn't want to film this podcast.
Yeah.
And I think Meggie had given up, but I rebounded. But yeah.
Yeah. You got to show up.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's not that deep. What I'm doing is not that deep. But there are, what I struggle with is that I really like person-to-person human connection. And it's hard for me to feel connected to people just through a comment, just through typing. Like, I want to hear your voice.
See your facial expressions.
I want to be able to hug you. I'm a hugger. So I'm kind of living in the space of, well, but this gives you the ability to reach more people. So I don't know, in process there. It's definitely not something I would have chosen for myself, but we talk about our faith and everything. And I feel like God wants me to do this. Now, when he tells me that he's done with me doing this, I will totally listen to that. And I feel like I've been arguing with him for a while. And I don't want to sound like I feel like I sound a little entitled. But it's just like my life is so wrapped up in this business, and I'm an emotional person. I'm an empath. Like, I think that's why I want to be with people in person. The things that get me really energized in business these days is getting to be with people at conferences, is getting to, I have a community now that I'm on Marco Polo with every day. That energizes me, getting to see them, getting to talk with them, getting to hear their voice, getting to hear their experiences, getting to see their wins and their losses, like in this creator economy. That's the stuff that I love. So I guess I'm trying to figure out how I pull more of that into the actual business that I'm doing of being a creator, because I know that, I just know that there's people out there that have been inspired by what I do, but I just want to know them personally. And I don't know if that's possible. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know.
But thanks for sharing your process with us.
Yeah, because I just think as human beings, we don't have capacity for as many people as I have access to now. So I know that that's a great responsibility, that the amount of people that I have access to. So I guess what I need to do is spend some time in self-reflection of, okay, why have I been given this, and what is this next season about? Like, maybe this first season was just about encouraging and education, but like, what is the next season? I don't know. Yeah. We're in process. And it feels like a therapy session. Yeah.
But it gets me thinking too about the Cypress Room community, and maybe all of this process that you're going through. Some of it can be translated over to the community we're creating here.
I know. And can I tell you, can you talk about that sweet voice message we got? I'm not going to say who it's from because I don't want to like put her on blast, but can you talk about that for a second?
Yes. What? I don't even remember the voice message. I need to re-listen.
It basically was just, first of all, sending a voice message. Thank you so much.
Yes, like, I did love hearing the voice.
Send us voice messages. If this has encouraged you in any way, please let us know. Like, and it's not for us. It's really not for us. It's like it's for the community, because it's hard. Again, it's just hard to interact over video like this, but we know we're doing it. We know we're doing it for a reason. And so we just got this sweet voice memo on our Cypress Room Instagram, and it was just like, thank you so much. This has been so encouraging to me. I'm watching every week, and just thank you was basically all it was.
It was just, I love hearing a voice.
Sometimes I feel like nobody's listening.
Yeah.
I know, but I know that's not true. But so it's just it's a weird space, you guys. It's a weird space.
It is. And yeah, we're just working on stewarding it well too, and same with your Pretty Distressed platform. It's, how can I steward these people that I have access to in the best way possible?
And then just an added benefit off of that is when you're in real relationship with people, you trust them. So I'm not, showing up just telling people, oh, buy this bed. Oh, wait, no, buy this bed. No, wait, buy this bed. Buy this bed. I'm getting on here and being like, here's my coffee maker that I use every day. This brings me joy. Here's the...
Just thinking about coffee brings me joy.
Brings me joy. Here's my mascara that I've been using for 5 years. It's just as good as the luxury brand. So don't ever buy the luxury brand. Buy this one. Those are the things that I'm sharing. And it's the added benefit is that my community that is going deep with me, that I'm interacting with, they like trust me when I say that. And I'm like, you could just trust me at face value because I think that you should because I'm telling the truth. But like that trust comes from building a relationship, not from, oh, she's got 500,000 followers, so I believe her, you know?
Yeah. But also sharing those pieces of yourself and the things you like, create those connection points with people. Because I think some of the people I end up following, the way it starts is by seeing them share something that I'm like, oh, I'm not the only one who likes Diet Coke and doesn't think it's poison. Or, or oh, I'm not the only one who, I don't know, fill in the blank. I'm not the only one. Oh, I love that too. Or I do that too. You know, those are the kind of things that make me invest in somebody and that, you know, I would hope the same would be true when they're watching whatever I put out or whatever you put out.
Yeah. Well, and I'm just so interested, like, why people want to be creators these days. Like, do you want to be your own boss? Are you just really passionate about that? Are you just comfortable getting on there? I would love to know in the comments if you're a new creator and trying to build this, because that seems like a lot of who's watching us now.
Yeah.
Or even if you're a little bit of a seasoned creator, what is it that makes you want to be a creator? What do you love about it? What are your goals? What are your dreams for this space? I feel like the space chose me, so I'm just kind of still trying to catch up after 5 years. Like, what am I doing here and how did I get here? It definitely happened by accident for me, but I feel like now because there is this creator economy, people are more intentionally coming into this space. So I hope me just I know I'm kind of all over the place, you guys, but this is just who I am. I hope it just kind of gives you the focus of like, what do I want my platform to be? Why am I here? And I hope that you're fleshing this stuff out a little bit more before you get into a season of having to like unwind it like I am now, because it just kind of took over. I just hit at the right season during COVID. And then because I had all that video background, I was in the right place at the right time with the short form content and just tried it out and it worked for me. So I don't feel like I've had a ton of strategy involved in what I've done. So I would love to know what people's mindset is going into being a creator. What has made you want to step out and do that? Is it being your own boss? Is it just you're just really passionate about something, or you just really love connecting with a lot of people?
Yeah.
I'm an introvert, so I was not really made for this, but I'm figuring it out. Yeah. I'm figuring it out because it's important. The people, I know I spend only a few moments a day on Instagram connecting with people that I enjoy. So I really do appreciate the people that are connecting and interacting with me, because I know that's moments out of their day that they're choosing who to spend that time with. And I believe like it's for a reason, but I don't really know. I'm just in a season where I don't really know right now.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is helpful to anybody, but I'm trying.
I would say, new creators or old creators, I think it's always important to, really understand what your core principles are and the value that you're bringing to this creator space. Because I think that's what everything should flow out of. So I just encourage anybody who maybe feels like, oh, I don't really know what I'm doing or how to do this, or I've been doing it for a while and I'm a little burnout and lost. I think revisiting the things that are most important to you and those core principles of why you started doing it in the first place, and understanding the value and the worth and the uniqueness that you bring is going to be a good place to start and refocus kind of all your efforts and connections with people in the creator space going forward, because then it's coming from a very authentic place and you're really going to be true to who you are and not just a copy of what somebody else has done. Because I think that there's room for everybody here.
Mm-hmm.
I think people are attracted to that uniqueness as well. And so nobody wants sameness all over the place. I mean, we even saw, it used to be you went on TikTok and it was all sameness, doing the same dance to the same songs. And I think even that has started to go away. And we're seeing more uniqueness in that space. And so I just encourage anyone out there that to really harness what is unique and special about what you bring to the table, the value you bring to the table, your likes, your dislikes, your thoughts, your ideas. And that's really what's going to make those connections with people and get them invested in your content and your platforms.
Okay.
Yeah. So are we going to hard transition?
I guess we can hard transition. I just, yeah.
Do you have any final thoughts?
No, because I think that last actionable item we kind of talked about, I'm just showing up in stories more and having more fun in them, and just interacting more. Like, I can think of the one thing I did last week that was really fun is I threw a picture up of a piece of furniture that I'd done that I'd staged. And I was like, hey, let's play what's thrifted in this picture. Like, there's 3 items thrifted. And people played along and they're like, I think it's this one. I think it's that one. I think it's this one. And that was fun for me, for them to say, oh, something that I made, they thought I bought. So that was fun. And then after that, I was able to switch to the business mind. I'm like, well, these are the things that I made. And here's a link to the YouTube video.
Yeah.
And then here's the things that I bought. And here's links to the things that I bought in case you're interested. So
yeah, I really liked those stories.
Okay,
I thought it was really creative.
Just trying new things.
Yeah.
Instead of, I think the trap in stories is just to keep showing up and doing the thing that works until it doesn't work anymore, which is okay. It's not that bad of a strategy. But yeah, I'm just in a season of a lot of change and just trying to figure out what I'm doing. So that's where I'm at, and I'm still showing up. And I'm being very vulnerable and sharing all of that with you.
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
Oh, gosh. Oh, okay.
Okay. Our favorite things. Do you have one?
Do I have one? Yeah, I have a funny one that I have discovered on Amazon. And let me give a little backstory on this because this will be an educational moment too. So when you're an Amazon influencer, they have a new program that they rolled out called their Creator Connections. And in Creator Connections, there's different products that they put in there that you can get a higher commission on for like a season. And you just make like a little piece of content on it. You upload the content and you get the additional commission for doing that. So I'm constantly going in there now, just seeing like, hey, is there anything I want to try out? Are there things in there that I've bought before that I can, share with my audience that I love? And so one of the items that I found in there that was being promoted for, around Valentine's Day season were dude bombs, which sounds really funny. I'm going to explain what they are. So I don't know if you guys know about Dude Wipes, but Dude Wipes is like a branded flushable wipe for men. They also have wipes for them to like clean themselves off after they're done working out and things. It's like a very bro marketing. It's pretty funny. So I saw these dude bombs, which are for your toilet, and they're a 2-in-1. So it's like you put it in before you go to the bathroom. It's a little pod, expands. It's a air freshener and it cleans your toilet at the same time. And I just thought, this is hilarious. I'm going to get these for my husband for Valentine's Day. But I will tell you, even though I got it as a joke, where the family is enjoying them.
I know.
And they do work.
Me.
They cover, what happens in the bathroom, and it's cleaning the toilet at the same time. And that's why I'm like, when the kids are like, can I have one? I'm like, 100%, because their toilets, I don't know what kids do. I don't know what type of position they're going to the bathroom in, but we'll just leave it there if you don't have kids.
Yeah.
So I almost got it as a joke. Haha, this is so funny. But it's like one of my favorite finds on Amazon right now, the dude bombs.
Dude bombs.
And the marketing, it's worth alone the click below on the link I'm going to leave just to read their marketing taglines that they have.
It's funny.
It's very funny. Yeah, it's very funny. So go check that out. Dude bombs.
Oh, my favorite thing is much less exciting.
Hey, you know what? My favorite book that my kids read when we were little.
Everybody Poops.
Everybody Poops.
Yeah.
So there you go.
True story. My favorite thing is the hair oil I've been using. My hair is super dry, processed. I know this blonde looks natural, but it is
looks
not
so natural too. She's like the California beauty over here. My hair looks black next to yours. My hair is blonde, but it looks black next to her. And now she's tan, and I'm like Casper, but it's okay.
It's okay.
You're beautiful. This is why you need to teach all the people all the things.
So I've been using the Lanza hair oil because I've said it before. I'm on a healthy hair journey because once I turned 40, my hair just was a mess. And so I've been using the Lanza hair oil because my friend Melissa recommended it, and she has the most beautiful, healthy blonde hair.
She's another California beauty.
And I've been using it on my hair and my daughter's hair, and it helps with just dryness and frizziness and breakage and all the things. I use it when my hair is wet, when it's dry, when I curl it, so it doesn't look crispy anymore.
Perfect. Well, we'll link all those in the description box. That is the easiest way to support Cypress Room. You can purchase anything on Amazon through our links. We get a small commission for that. It helps run and fund this channel. So we really appreciate that. And it's no extra cost to you. So thanks for supporting our Amazon storefront.
Yes, we appreciate it. And we want to engage with you. So leave us comments. Go follow us on Instagram. Send us DMs.
Send us the voice memo on Instagram. Like maybe even if you have questions, put them in there. And like maybe we can answer questions on here. If there's anything like specific about your business, let's do a whole episode where we talk, like just do listener questions. So you can leave us a voice memo in Instagram and we'll put it on here.
We want to interact with you. So we appreciate any and every voice message, comment you leave. Of course, we appreciate you watching till the end.
If you're here, we know you're
a real one.
You're a real one. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Like, subscribe, hit the notification button, and we'll be back with another podcast soon. So we'll see you next time in the Cypress Room.